Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, depending on what time zone you're in around the world. This is Paul Finkelstein with omgtalk.com or onlinemeetandgreet.com as well. Today we have a special guest. His name is Kent Van Ho, all the way from the Pacific Coast, I believe. Is that correct? And how are you today, Kent?
That's right. That's right, Paul. All the way from San Francisco Bay Area.
Excellent. And how is the weather over there? Because over here it's raining, and you can't tell from my bright window to my right.
No, it doesn't look like it's raining. It looks like it's sunny and beautiful out there.
Mm-hmm.
Over here, man, it's nice. It's I don't know. It looks like it's in the 72, 74 right now.
It's amazing.
Beautiful.
People talk about the weather all the time, yet some people have a nice corner office with a beautiful window, but they never
Yeah.
have time to look at it because they're busy doing business.
Well, I don't let that stop me from looking out. So the best way to do that is put your desk facing the window so you can always work and also enjoy the view at the same time.
And it probably works best when your desk is facing the window because it won't reflect off the monitor.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right about that. Yeah, and
I don't know what the
it's
feng
nice.
shui people think about that, or I probably butchered how to say it. Feng shui, how they
Yeah.
design homes and offices and some way for karma of some kind. But let's learn a little bit about Kent and himself and or his business. I start off really slow to get you warmed up. So here's the first question: how long? Okay, I won't say it in slow motion. How long have you been doing what you're doing? And what are you doing?
Well, I'm in business now for over a year and a half. And what we've been doing is we've been partnering up with the coaching professionals to help scale their high ticket offers. And we do that by putting them through a program which consists of three components. The first one is to tap into that 3% that ready to buy at any given time. The second one is an integration of 7 different platforms end to end that takes away 90% of the heavy lifting for them so that they spend more time on their own clients versus on marketing. And the third component is the one-on-one coaching, the one-on-one hand holding, all the way from the time we shake hand, we sign the agreement, all the way till whenever we depart or adjourn. But hand holding all the way. So those at high level, that's what we do. We partner up with them, and we make sure that they are successful at scaling their business, their high ticket offers.
Excellent. Now let's lead into a little bit more heavier question, or not so much heavy, it's actually lightweight. And that is if you could share one success story that you're very proud of, whether that's personal or business. I'll leave that wide open. But of course, some people like
Okay.
to highlight some business client success story, but you could go any gamut that you're
You
most
know,
proud of.
yeah, I think I'm most proud of, that now that I reflect back, it is to have the courage to take a step back and look at what I've been doing in the past 17 years in my career, and then take the next step forward in order to fulfill my dreams. And that was uh, looking at what I've been doing in the past 17 years in the corporate world, and then see where are my goals. If I were to continue another year or another 10, 17 years, will that hit my goals, right? And so one of the success stories of me was having uh, the courage to uh, to drop everything that I'm doing in the corporate world and chase after my dreams, which is quitting my job after building it up for 17 years. And I realized that's not something that is going to take me there to where I wanted to go. So this is where I'm at, and I wanted to go here. and the corporate career is not going to get me there. So I decided to quit. And when you quit, it's really, really challenging because you go into another space where you're not familiar with, right? You basically, I just dive right in. I told my boss, "Hey, I'm letting I'm letting go of my job, and I'm gonna go chase after my dream. I'm gonna start my own business." And when I did that, my boss didn't like the idea of me quitting cold turkey, so she wanted me to stay on for another 6 months to have somebody replace me. And during the time when they find somebody, they want me to be there in the background to train that person, get that person up to speed. Then they'll let me go. So that was an amazing time where I get to do two things. I get to run my own business on the background, but at the same time, helping train that new person to take over my role. So that was a huge stepping stone and a huge decision that I made back about a year and a half ago. And I think now that I look back, it was a huge decision. I mean, you have to really be ready, but I wasn't ready. You never be ready in anything, and in anything that big of an magnitude, right? I mean, I get buy-in from the wife, I got buy-in from the kids, I have the situation all settled, like financially. So I have at least a year of runway. If I make no money in my business for a year, I wouldn't be on the street. You know what I mean? I had all that planned out. But mentally, it was tough because you're going from 6 figure dropping down to zero like that, and it takes a lot of grit to continue to go after your dreams, right? A lot of people would just, you know what, I'm going back to the corporate world because it's easier. I want that stable 6 figure income every year. I mean, coming in every month, right? But I mean, of course, that thought crosses my mind several times during the past 8 months when I was struggling to get my footing in the corporate world, in the entrepreneur space. It was challenging at first. I mean, nothing is easy, right? I have battle scars to show of the last 8 months. Well, not last 8 months, but the first 8 months of my business. And looking back, it was actually really, really a good decision. I mean, I've completely transformed and evolved who I was back then to who I am now, as an individual and as a professional, helping out and partnering up with the coaching professionals.
So would you say that not having a fire hose of a sales force is probably one of the number one challenges of starting your own business, and not thinking about who's going to be my salesperson, whether it's Google or actual live people?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
go ahead.
Yeah, I said like it's definitely a challenge in all aspects. Not just only a sales force, helping you build your business, but it's just like every aspect of it is a learning experience, right? You go from what you used to is always structure, corporate career. You go in, you do the deliverables, you deliver, and you get paid, right? So you just do that every single day. But when you go into, how it is, you have your own business, right? You go into owning your own business, you basically do everything. And when you do everything, there's so many moving parts. And there's also the learning aspect of it, right? I've never read as many books as I've read last year, to be honest. And so, like there's so much that you have to figure out while in the process of building your business.
So speaking of a fire hose, you literally had a fire hose worth of information coming at you from all those books to catch yourself up to speed. And I'm sure that wasn't the Cliff Notes. You were reading full, at least 100-page books, and not a 2-page pamphlet that says, how do I get clients? How do I service clients? What is the best customer service method? What are things to learn from?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, like, books is one, like, and invest in yourself, hiring a mentor, or going getting into like a program to skill up. That's also something else as well. And even if you do all of that, now you have to really take a step back and take everything that you've learned and skilled up and go to market and test. Now every market is different, right? But when you do the testing piece of it, you have to really look at it objectively. You can't let your emotions be involved, because otherwise you're not gonna get the correct feedback from the market. So that aspect of it, like the whole entire 8 months for me, testing the market, get feedback, come back, test the market, come back, get the feedback again, and then tweak your offer based on the market feedback, and then go back there and give it to them. And that whole entire aspect of that whole entire process, it takes time and patience, and also, of course, money to do all the testing, right? So it was tough, but hey, it's worth it. It's really, really worth it. Um,
Now I want to dig a little bit deeper inside your brain, if you will, or borrow something from your eyeballs, from your point of view, and that's
yeah.
maybe it can be all about the money, or maybe it is all about the money. I'm sure you'll enlighten us, but I'm looking for something that really motivated you, that really made you passionate to do what you're doing, to maybe jump ship from the corporate world into your own business. What got you passionate? Was it something at a very young age when you were 4, or was it something late in life that said, hey, I want to own my business because I just don't want to have a boss anymore, and that was my motivator? What made you passionate to do what you do, motivated?
you know um couple of reasons. I think the very first one is when my parents immigrated here in the US back in the 1980s, actually 90s to be exact. We came here with empty-handed, and I am the second generation, if you will, here, right? And so build everything up with an empty hand. And yeah, up to today, everybody is college graduate and all of that. But looking at all of us, we're not like wildly successful. None of us are, because we just have corporate career and we just go from there, right? But one of the things that I always wanted is to be financially free, that to have that financial freedom, so that when you have financial freedom, you can help others get more financial freedom. So you make more, you give more, right? That has always been inside of me ever since I stepped foot on this country as a 14-year-old boy. And I became, I was very driven. I was very studious. So I went to college, got my bachelor degree, then I got my MBA, then I got into a corporate world, and I got married. So you have mouth to feed, so you can't really drop that and go to do your own career. I mean, your own business, right? But I mean, that whole entire thing about help be successful so that you can help more people successful has always been grinding me since I was young. And as I got to a point in my career, I no feel the pressure of debt. I don't have any more debt at that time, as of last year. So I figure, if anything, this is the time. If any time right now is the time, right? My kids are a lot more self-independent. They're like older. They're like 7 and 10. My wife has a career. I have a career, but we don't have any debt. So why not take the time now and just go straight into the entrepreneurship? And if something happened, I always go back to corporate world, right? That's always like the plan B. But in my head, I don't want to go with plan B. You had to go all in or all out. I tried to do both at the same time for like a few years, but it didn't work because you get pulled into corporate world here, and then your dreams get pull you out of the corporate world over here. So you kind of have all the way. It was really, really hard. It was really challenging. And it was pretty difficult to do that if you have a very challenging and demanding 9 to 5, right? And I always realized that with the 9 to 5, there is a ceiling of how successful you can be. and how much you can really help people. And you can't break out of that. You know, it doesn't matter how hard you work in the corporate world, it's always that ceiling that capped over you. But if you jump to an entrepreneur and own your own business, the ceiling is lifted. You just have to really now focus on growing it. But first, you got to go down to zero. You know what I mean? Like you got to go down to zero. You have to really battle with what it is that you wanna help people with. And I struggled with that for the first 8 months. You know, getting skilled up, finding my new horizons, and go out to the market and find the right pain points and problems that they have to try to fix it. That was a huge deal. So I took my time to do that for like the first 8 months, and I cracked the code, and I was glad that I did it.
Now, at this point, you must have 1, 2, 3 questions that come to your mind that your ideal client would ask you, or maybe not necessarily your ideal client, but the client you want to have going forward. What question would they ask? And go ahead and answer it. And you could take as long as you need, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 30 seconds, if it's simple.
Well, my ideal clients, the first thing they'll ask is, how soon will I get my return on investment? You know, what's the ROI? Because at the end of the day, all they want is an ROI, right? When they work with you. And I would say I would answer the question in two parts, right? The first part is they have to understand that for them, in order for them to get an ROI, it takes work on their part as well. I mean, we provide 50% of, or even like maybe even 80% of the solution, but the other 20%, you got to come from them. They need to have some skin in the game in order to make this thing work, right? So for example, we provide the systems so that they can get there first each and every single time to tap into that 30% that buy at any given time for their high ticket offer, right? And those people look for you. The 3% will look for you. They have a pain. They're looking for you, and they also have a budget. Now, we have a system to ensure and guarantee that they'll be first each and every single time, get in front of that 3%. And when you first every single time, according to research, you get almost 80%, so 78% chance of getting that with that buyer. So being first is really critical to have your proposal submitted to that hot buyer. And so that's what we do. We ensure that gets submitted to the hot buyer. But the other 20% is on the client. They have to be responsive, and they have to know how to close their own client, right? So it's not like it's a one way. They have to put in the effort as well. So that's what I meant by the other 20%. So how good are they with that? But we hold up to our end of the bargain, which is getting them there first, so that they can get the proposal view by the buyer, by the hot buyer, and get them on board and solve their problem. So that's the first one. And the second one is that in order to get an ROI, the 3% is great, but what about the 97%? Right, the people that are either on the fence, or they're thinking about it, or they don't even know they have a problem, right? So those 97% is, we have something called the automated outbound system, where we then define who their ideal target market is, and then we leverage our end-to-end system, which has 7 different platforms working in the background, integrated into one system, so that it allows the coaching professional more time back. Basically, they don't have to spend time doing any of that. The system will do all the heavy lifting, or the dirty work, if you will, to get the ideal clients to open up warm conversations with them. because it's all about building relationships now. It's not about selling or pitching, because that's exactly what everybody else is doing right now online. The minute they find somebody or they see somebody that's their ideal client, what they do is they start pitching or they start selling. And our approach is unique in that we don't do that. We don't help our clients do that either. We just help our clients, number one, define the ideal target market, that 97%. And number two, open up warm conversation and build relationships with us without any expectations of selling or pitching. And then from there, you never know where it's gonna go. But you know that that person on the other end is your ideal client. And if you discover that, one, they have a problem, and two, they're in a neutral space where they can share their problems with you without having their guards up, and without feeling that they're being sold to, or they're being, you know what I mean? Like it's easier for them to open up when you come to the conversation without having any expectations. Then you can, as a client, as a professional, you can either say, I can help you with that, or I know somebody who can. That's a huge entire paradigm shift to what everybody else is doing out there, which is selling and pitching. And we don't do that. And we don't advise our clients to do that. So that's what we do. And then that's the second thing. And the third thing is, we know systems are not enough, right? Systems is only 50% of the equations. So the other 50 is the soft skill, the hand holding, the proof of concept, the building trust aspects of it. When we reach out to somebody, when they reach out to their own clients, like our clients reach out to their clients, the first thing they need to do is they got to win the heart, not the mind, the heart. How do they win the heart? They have to build trust and authority first with using their online presence. How do they build trust and authority using the online presence? So that they win the heart. By the time they get on the phone, the heart is already sold. Now they just need to allow the mind to rationalize what the offer is and see if that makes sense. So that soft skill, that hand holding, that's the third component of what we do, so that they don't have to spend time convincing the heart that they are the right one when their online presence already done the heavy lifting for them. So that's what we also help our clients with. It's really important that they have to understand that, right? So if they do all those three, our client ROI should be at least minimum 12 or more. So 12.6 is our ROI for our clients, and we don't guarantee that they will get an ROI at 12.6. They have to do their part. But we do our best to handhold them through the whole entire process. I hope that helps. Is that clear? Or
it's excellent, actually. I think you're probably the clearest out of all 50 people that I've had on the show so far. I usually give people the opportunity to give me 1, 2 questions. You gave me 3 of what your typical client would ask, and then you went ahead and asked it. And that way it gives me and others, another audience, a chance to learn more about you. And my next thing off the tip of my tongue really is how do you want people to reach you if they liked anything you said today? That you want them to contact you? Do you want to say your website, your phone number, a special business phone number? I actually put my phone number all over the web, and it doesn't ring off the hook. So I think that I don't think the phone number is the call to action enough, and there's so much distraction. But at the same time, people do want to be cautious, and some people actually say you can contact me look me up on LinkedIn, look me up on Facebook, and message me.
Yeah.
But if you have an email or a website, feel free to say it now.
Sure. I make it easy for folks, right? So whatever they feel is the most convenient method of communications for them, they can reach out either by phone or on LinkedIn or on my website. So website is alphacoast.com. Alpha is like alpha beta. Alpha coast is coastal line. Alpha coast, one word.com. Or go to LinkedIn and search Ken Van Ho, and you'll find me there. Or send me an email, kent@alphacoast.com.
Excellent. Kent@alphacoast.com. Perfect email, easy. You don't have to spell it on the phone.
No.
Unlike my name is impossible to do. And I'm trying to pay a bill and they want me to spell my name. It takes another half hour on the phone, which is another, I need a system for that as well, probably a virtual assistant instead of myself doing it. Let's just recap so that people can understand what we've been talking about. We learned how long Kent has been doing what he's doing and what he's doing at alphacoast.com. He told us one success story that he's proud of. He told us, well, maybe it can't be all about the money, or maybe it is. To some people it is, some people it's not, a combination of both. And what motivated him and passionate to do what he does. And then he gave us 3 ideal questions that a customer would ask him, or what his ideal customer would ask him. And then he went ahead and answered it. So I encourage you all to re-listen to this at least 2-3 times. The first time you listen to any talk show on the recording, it's more or less for entertainment purposes. The second or third time, you will pick up something you didn't see on the first time. Stick around after I hit the stop button so we could say goodbye or a couple of things. For everybody that's out there listening, this is Paul Finkelstein with OMG Talk, or onlinemeetandgreet.com, where we listen to all kinds of businesses, startup businesses, existing businesses all over the world. Anybody who has Wi-Fi will learn about your business. I do concentrate in the Florida area and Southeast Florida, where I'm from, and anywhere across the country. I meet people on alignable.com, linkedin.com, as well as on Facebook as well. You can find this video or video directory, if you will, about 13 to 20 minutes. I'm guessing it's going to come out to about 25 minutes, where I'll send you, by the way, Kent, a original replay copy to your email. If I have your email, make sure, actually, you think you told it to me, Kent at alphacoast.com. So now I got that in my head. Thanks for everybody for joining us, and we'll talk soon, Kent, in just a few seconds. Ciao for now, everybody.